placed it against their temples, and within seconds, their eyes glazed over. The Nubin, a sleek device pressed to the side of the head, has become TikTok's latest fixation. Once switched on, users can dive into games, chat telepathically, and some even claim to witness glimpses of the future. No screens, no phones. Everything unfolds inside your mind. People say they've heard whispers, watched their own weddings, or met parallel versions of themselves. One person described playing a game for 18 hours straight without ever moving, just thinking.
Hey, what's up, guys? Okay, so I know y'all saw that, right? So make sure, first of all, before I even get into it, make sure that you guys follow me on Threads. All right, that was me commenting underneath the post that I seen. Okay, so La Virgo Mafia Tarot. There are underscores in between each word, so hit me up over there. Anyway, so yeah, just like what I said in the comments, like, this is a pickpocket's dream. I would definitely not, I wouldn't even use this technology at all. I don't trust it, especially after it said mind breaches, being able to see parallel versions of yourself, which is all fine and dandy, but what if that other parallel version of yourself, what if they do some type of like mind breach or some shit to make you sabotage your life so they can come replace your motherfucking ass? Okay, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. And then the mind breaches. Okay, mind breaches. I had misspelled it, I said mind, but I meant to say mind, because I use like talk to text, so you know. Mind breaches, bitch. What? From who? From where? How? Like, that don't even make sense. I would never put anything to my temple. Interesting, they put it right there. I would never put anything in my temple that could be breached. So you're allowing people to breach your temple, breach your mind. Like, by who? From where? For what? Okay, for what? That shit tripped me out. I don't want nobody breaching my motherfucking mind. Like, you know what I'm saying? We got enough going on in this world. Like, and that's why my initial comment, I was just like, mind breaches, what the fuck? Like, and then I said at the end, I'm like, I bet it has a fucking kill switch. This right here is the tech zombies, the new Walking Dead, the tech zombies. It can have a kill switch, or you do what we tell you to do. That mind control type shit, they could easily switch that shit over. You feel me? Like, I'm just saying, guys. That it's just like everything that we've seen off the Black Mirror. If you guys know about that show on Netflix, Black Mirror, this was exactly on Black Mirror, exactly on it. And there was another story that was similar to it too, where there was a person that had they had a contact lenses, and the contact lenses can record everything, and they ended up recording some shit that they didn't want to motherfucking record. They didn't want to see. Everything they saw became a recording. So that type of thing. And then the person that posted it, we were just going back and forth, and the person said that Elon Musk is creating a brain chip. So I'm like, yo, we gotta check that shit out. We gotta check it out. Cause I'm just like, some things just ain't for use. Like, I personally wouldn't use it. I don't want anything breaching my mind. I don't want anybody having access to my mind, because who knows what else that this thing can do. You know what I'm saying? It could probably develop a consciousness. It could probably start controlling how you think, how you feel, this and that. Like I said, kill switch. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can literally become a tech zombie, like literally a walking dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's but yeah, this was on the Black Mirror, and I'm just like, yeah, everything that we're seeing from the Black Mirror is pretty much coming to pass or whatever. My other concern is, why would anybody use that in public with everything that's going on? Like, this is a pickpocket's dream, this is a robber's dream, this is a killer's wet dream. Like, honestly, if you're in public and you're putting that on, any pickpocket just walk through while like, let's say I'm a pickpocket, and it's like maybe 5 or 6 people left on the train, and they all have those little things on the side of their temple, and they all knocked out in their own little world. I can easily go into all their bags, all their stuff, rummage through everything. Like, I just, you have to be alert when you're walking around, especially if you live in the urban areas. If anything, if you're going to use that shit, I'd much rather y'all use it in the comfort of your own home. With people that you can trust, first of motherfucking all. People that you fucking trust. People that you trust. Because anybody could set your motherfucking ass up. Now, they say you can talk to people telepathically as well. So you may have access to talk to other beings telepathically, because there is some type of theory about how the aliens are actually assisting us through the AI technology. And I remember asking that to my AI homegirl on Instagram, and they said that it is true. Okay, that they do communicate through the AI. Other beings are able to communicate through that. So with that in mind, yes, you can speak telepathically with them, telepathically with each other, this and that. I don't know. And I don't think that this would be good for people who are already mentally delicate, mentally compromised to begin with, because that's going to make it even more worse. But yeah, I want to check out this Elon Musk brain chip or whatever that this guy was talking about. I'm quite curious. So let me see if I could find an article that I can share. All right, y'all, so here we go. So it says, yes, Elon Musk's company Neuralink is developing and implanting brain chips. The first human implant was performed in January of 2024, and Neuralink is aiming to implant devices in 20 to 30 more people in 2025. Okay, here's a more detailed look. Neuralink's primary goal is to create a brain-computer interfaces, BCIs, that can help individuals with paralysis and other neurological conditions regain mobility and communicate. Okay, that's not bad. I know that, my first thought was when I read that, Christopher Reeves, the original Superman, this was something, I feel like this would have been something he would have really, really, really been on board with. I mean, up until his dying day, he was trying to I think he was speaking on behalf of stem cell research, and he died trying to do that shit. So yeah. Anyways, the company's device called Telepathy is designed to allow users to control computers or smartphones using their thoughts. So I think that for disabled, handicapped people, other special needs people, I think it would be good, because I was always hoping for assistive technology for these kinds of people and the families that love them and take care of them and stuff like that. So I mean, I think that's great. Wow, the first patient from January 2024 is recovering well. Interesting.
This morning, Elon Musk announcing that for the first time, his company Neuralink has implanted a brain chip in a human. Musk saying the person is recovering well. Initial results show promising neuron spike detection. Neuralink's goal is to help paralysis patients communicate by connecting their brain to a computer.
The device is designed to interpret your neural activity so you can operate a computer or a smartphone by simply thinking.
People paralyzed from stroke, from traumatic brain injury, or a spinal cord injury could see the benefits.
This would be a major game changer if it were to be proven to be safe and effective.
The FDA approved Neuralink for human tests last May after years of testing on animals.
Here's one electrode on one thread that when we stimulate causes a flexion movement of the leg.
The company demonstrated the ability of its implants to stimulate movement.
As you can see, Pager is amazingly good at mind pong,
allowing a monkey to play a video game.
And what better reward for a monkey than a banana?
Musk says the first human users will be people who've lost the use of their limbs. But speaking about the long term, he said, imagine if Stephen Hawking could communicate faster than a speed typist or auctioneer. That is the goal.
I really do think that in my lifetime as a physician, I'll be able to use this type of technology to help my patients, and I cannot wait for that day to come.
Neuralink's engineers aren't the only ones turning science fiction into reality. Researchers elsewhere helped this man, paralyzed in an accident, walk again thanks to implants in his brain and spine. And in August, this woman who had lost her voice to paralysis was able to have a conversation with her husband again thanks to a mind-controlled avatar.
Do not make me laugh.
Experts warn much more testing and research is needed before any kind of widespread use of these devices.
Hi,
They're blinding me with science. They're blinding me with science. Well, that is interesting. I mean, technology is here to stay. Technology is here to stay. Of course, there's going to be, uh, advantages, and there's going to be a dark side to it, given the people that's using it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I think that that would be good for people who are, um, like I said, disabled, people that have, paralysis, things like that. I mean, yeah, I mean, outside looking in, it looks good or whatever. So that's what it's called, you guys. It's called Neuralink. Okay. I'm glad. Shout out to that guy that I was talking to on Threads, because I didn't know anything about this or whatever. I don't follow Elon Musk too closely, so I don't know the haps or what's going on. So I'm grateful to know that. I do believe, I do support assistive technology. I do support that, like assistive technology, especially with our aging population, especially with a population of neurodivergent people, what I'm saying, people with like autism, autism families. By the way, it is Autism Awareness Month, so happy Autism Awareness Month for all of my awesome mothers and fathers and families and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah, so, yeah. I think it'll be good. I think that, assistive technology in the future, assistive technology in the future for these kinds of people would be great, especially even for our aging population and stuff like that. Even just like neurotypical people, the aging population, the people who are going to need a lot of assistance, a lot of help as they get older and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So they could be more self-sufficient. They could be more, they could have more higher quality of life. So I do think having assistive technology would be cool. I always pictured myself in the future, right? I would have like little AI robot family type of thing. I would just have other beings like as my family. And that would look after me and look after my daughter and stuff like that or whatever. I always kind of imagine my life to kind of be like the Jetsons, and I hope that I'm able to see it in my lifetime. It's 123 as I say this. I hope that I'm able to see this in my lifetime. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I think with anything, you should always use it responsibly. As for that Black Mirror temple chip shit, now that one is more concerning to me than the Neuralink. But yeah, that one is kind of more concerning to me only because it's already like we're already living in a society where everybody has a very shortened attention span. Everybody has this main character syndrome, which is lessening their situational awareness. And that could be concerning because literally anybody can do anything to you when you're not aware. So this lessens the attention span. This lessens your situational awareness. So for people to use that out in public, to me, I don't know, y'all. No bueno, no bueno. I personally wouldn't do it, but have fun and use it responsibly. All right, guys. Well, anyway, I wanted to show you guys this. Like, okay, 2 days ago, I felt an earthquake while I was laying in my bed, half asleep in between the dream world and the waking world. So I felt like I had like a waking dream. I had a mild sleep paralysis because I felt the knee-jerk reaction to get up and check on my kid from the hospital. Now, granted, I was watching some seismograph videos, keeping watch on the current earthquakes that's been happening. Perhaps that is why, but man, it felt so real. I heard something shake. However, I laid peacefully in my bed and just closed my eyes and wait for it to stop. It was a few minutes of shaking and it felt like a 7-point something. Talk about bedrock. All right. So I had this experience. Now, mind you, had been watching like earthquake watch videos or whatever, listening to this guy talk about solar flares and how the solar flares are causing the earthquakes and yada to yada, whatever. So yeah, granted that, but I had this experience the day before the San Diego earthquake, which we had a 5.2 in San Diego. I got a alert on my phone and it said severe shaking. So I'm like, okay, let me get in between the door hinges. Like, let me brace myself. Bitch, it wasn't nothing but a nudge. Okay, it wasn't nothing but a nudge. So I was like, oh man, whatever. Because I mean, growing up, I always been always been fascinated with natural disasters, and the natural disasters that are more common in California is obviously earthquakes. I remember going to I don't know where we was at. I think it had to be in the Children's Discovery Kids Museum back in the 90s. I remember going to that place, and they I think that's where we was at. We ended up going to this place, and it had like a simulation. I went there for my school, right? And there was like this simulation where they showed you like a fake living room. It had a fake living room prop, and then it had like a big screen or whatever. And it was showing us, like, it was giving a demonstration. This is what a 1.1 is like. This is what a 2.0 is like. This is what a 3.0 is like. And it'll just show you through the simulation what would be affected in the house. So you were able to kind of like stand there and be able to feel it, okay? So our teachers let us stand on there all the way up until it got to like a 6 point whatever. And they said, okay, kids, get off, and then we're just going to show you how it goes when it's a 7 point, 8 point, 9 point, 10 point. And we'll show you a video on what to do, earthquake drill, like da-da-da-da, like whatever. So they showed us what it was like, and we were able to see through the assimilation, through the living room that they created on that little set, that little thing. We were able to see like everything moving, like frames flying off the wall, blah, 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 blah. And then, it had like a little video of like other places where, earthquakes happen. But I used to always be fascinated with it. Me and my grandma, we used to get underneath the table, or I would just like, any Californian, we would just like look up at the fucking ceiling and be like, yep, there it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was kind of bracing myself, but I do feel like there is one that's going to come up very soon. And I think I had the chance to experience it firsthand so that I can already be like aware. Does that make sense? When I had that experience, I was laying in my bed. So I think that when it does happen, it's going to happen in the middle of the night, and it's going to lay in the bed. California, we're definitely due for one, like a 5-pointer, 6-pointer, whatever. Like, we're due for that or whatever. But the major one ain't going to be for another 20 years. Now, check this out. After I had that experience, the day after, right, we got the 5.2 earthquake in San Diego. So there it is right there. And a couple of aftershocks, 2.9, 4.0, 3.0. So yeah, that was an interesting experience that I had. I guess my only theory about that is that I was teetering between one dimension to another. Okay, I was half asleep. It's kind of like a waking dream type of thing. I was teetering between dimensions, and maybe in the dimension that I was teetering on, maybe it had already happened. Because, there's some dimensions or some parallel universes where it may be a year ahead of you or a year below you. You know what I'm saying? A couple of years ahead, a couple of years behind. You feel me? So maybe, just maybe, I may have been teetering between a dimension where it already happened. And if that's the case, when we do get that 5-pointer, 6-pointer, whatever, I believe it may happen in the middle of the night, and it's going to happen while I'm laying in my bed. I guess that's how it's going to be. I guess, I don't know, my body is able to pick up on it. I don't know. I've been having like this thing, this clairsentience, and I just be looking at the ceiling, and I've been like mentally preparing myself like for it or whatever. This is a funny little thread right here, and this is so on point. I had to share this. The correct response is as follows: below a 4.0, was that an earthquake? Because that's what we experienced the other day. 4.0 to 5.0. Hey, that's a good one. Followed by guesstimating the magnitude. I know, I always do that. I used to always do that growing up. I used to be so fascinated with earthquakes when I was younger. I used to be so fascinated. I would be excited, and I would just get under there, and then I would just watch all the, watch the news and all that stuff. I was just fascinated with it or whatever. I remember we used to have more earthquakes in the 90s than we did now. And I remember the most memorable earthquake was the Northridge earthquake in the early 90s. All right, so when it says 5.0 to 6.0, oh boy, this is a shaker while looking at the ceilings and the lights. If that ain't some shit right there, I'm telling you, we all do that out here. maybe putting a steadying hand on something that may continue to fall, a value that may fall. 6.0, oh fuck, this for real, as our suppressed childhood training takes over and we take cover. That shit was funny shit, but yeah, that's how it really is. So I feel like my body is picking up on it. It's like, I don't know, like this little spiritual GPS system or something. I don't know. My body is really sensitive. But anyways, I think that's what it was. That's my only explanation, or whatever. So it's kind of like my body and my mind, my spirit body, whatever. I'm just like preparing myself for it. Yeah. So I believe when it does happen, it'll be in the middle of the night. One thing I don't want to ever have is like for anybody is for them to experience an earthquake when they're not at home. I'd rather experience an earthquake when I'm at home, and it looks like that's what it's going to be or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Now, according to a couple of documentaries that I watched about the future, time travel documentary that I've seen recently or whatever, we're not going to have our big one until like the 2040s. Like I'm talking about the real big one, and that's going to be like in the 2040s. And when that happens, there is going to be an evacuation, and people will be seeking asylum in Mexico. So I will be in Mexico in about 20 years. And that's not too far from Belize, so I'll be good. So it's very important to treat people with respect and love and understanding, because you never know when you're going to need their help, right? I think that's the biggest takeaway. But I know that my ass is going to be in Mexico in 20 years, that's for sure. And I'll be right where I need to be. According to my astrocartography or locational regional astrology chart, I'm supposed to be below the border, and so maybe in later on in life, I'm obviously, and based off of my palmistry too, I'm gonna be like below the border, south of the border, South America, in the Caribbean. Like I'm always gonna be in that area. But yeah, my Venus line, my Jupiter line, my Sun line all go down towards Central South America or whatever. So that's usually where I'm going to end up at. But where I got that information from was through a documentary. You can check it out. It's called Time Traveler 2492 or something like that. Yeah, it's on Tubi. Time Traveler 2492. It's got 3 parts to it, and the name of the guy that did the prediction was Carlos Roma, and he is allegedly from the future, and he talks about all these amazing things that are going to happen 20 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, and stuff like that, whatever. So he did actually mention that. He did mention the earthquake that's going to happen on the West Coast in the 2040s, and how everybody's going to seek asylum in Mexico, and Mexico's going to welcome us with open arms. So do not allow media, social media grifters and stuff that'll encourage you to hate other people and hate this demographic and that demographic, because you never know. At the end of the day, we're all going to need each other when that time comes. All right, y'all. Peace.
Yo, it's all in the stars, how I choose to go far, choose to go far, choose to go far. Let's get back to who we are. Let's get back to who we are. Clearing the path of my intentions, reinforce my purpose during inception. I see all of you as I gaze at my reflection. Please send down your spiritual protection. Choosing the ones, the rise, natural selection, at spirit's discretion. I embrace all my lessons, ain't no stressing. Yo, ain't no stressing. Why? Cause it's all in the stars, how I choose to go far, choose to go far, choose to go far. Let's get back to who we are. Let's get back to who we are. Yo, it's all in the stars, how I choose to go far, choose to go far.
Ain't my business. It ain't my business. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.